So what can we do with this relative positioning now? Attached you can again find this starting code right here. This is actually the same code we had to get a better understanding of the fixed positioning. And as we know the code, as you can see right here, it's the same we had before. Why don't we just start and add the relative position to our first child, so to this navigation bar right here? Well, let's do that by adding the parent class selector and now child1 class selector again. And now I want to add position relative, like that. If we do that, and you saw that already in the project, nothing changes basically. The element stays or behaves the same way it did before when we didn't apply that value. We saw though in the project also that with this position property, we can of course change the positioning context of other elements, so of children of this element. But as we don't have any children right here, there is not a lot that we can change right now. But the cool thing is that if we now go back and add, for example, top, let's say 50 pixels and left 50 pixels, like that, then we can see that the element suddenly moves. And why is this happening? Well, we saw for the fixed and absolute values that the elements are taken out of the document flow and then positioned relatively to the viewport, or as we saw it, to the HTML element or to the closest ancestor which has the position property applied. For the relative value, this is different, because the positioning context is the element itself. And at the same time, the element is also not taken out of the document flow. So what basically happened right here with our element is that we moved it down from its initial position, which was right here, by 50 pixels from the top and then 50 pixels from the left. That's really important. With the relative value, you simply push your element from the current position down from the top by 50 pixels and from the left by 50 pixels. So if you would apply right 50 pixels now, let's do this quickly, like that, and reload the page, then you can see that the element moves from the right to the left by 50 pixels. So that's important to keep in mind. For the fixed and absolute values, the top, left, bottom, and right properties specify a distance to the parent element basically, so to the containing block. But for the relative positioning, this simply defines how this element should move from the current position. And as we can move the element basically wherever we want to, so we could also add top 300 pixels right here. Well, this can lead to the following situation. We basically move the relative element right here out of the actual parent, so of our, parent class right here. Now, you might want this behavior, but there are probably situations where you say, yeah, I want to move my element a little bit to the left, to the right, to the bottom, wherever, but I want to make sure that it doesn't leave this parent, or at least that it's not visible anymore as soon as it leaves the parent element right here. Now, in the next video, I will show you how you can quickly solve this issue, but also a problem that you can have depending on the element type your parent has.